So it's the 21st. It would have been nice if I started this earlier because my plan is to try to transcend on the 10th, 11th, and 12th when human consciousness is at its peak, um, where I'll be more clear-minded, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to do well. I will be doing that, but I am a little later when it comes to purging my body of cannabis, because that was probably the first thing where it was supposed to be 30 days to purge. Yesterday was my first full day without any, and I'll just be drinking water, exercising, and doing my best just to stay as calm as possible, not taking any more food than is necessary, and and I mean that's going to be the whole way through. I'm going to have a game plan of things in between that I'm going to do, but that's going to be the thing. Those are the things that I need to start enacting right now. I'm not too worried necessarily about having my posture. I got to straighten up my posture. I need to pull my back. I need to pull my shoulders back because I'd like to kind of sit in the lotus position for as long as possible. I mean, last year when I did this, one of the major things that I figured out that I was supposed to do was straighten out my back, because my back was having a lot of problems, and it's just a matter of distraction. It's not really a super secret technique to get to transcending. It's just that is the correct anatomically correct position in the body, and I need to try to not have as many distractions as possible. So I need to flatten out the back. I did this for about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, in Palm Springs. It was hard. It was really hard. It was really painful trying to pull my back and trying to restructure my muscles so that it was normal for that, and not the obscure position that they're in, and then they wanted to revert back. I mean, this is 40 years of shoulders rolling forward, and I've got to try to figure out but that's what caused a lot of the pain, is sitting in the hammock riding the bike with my shoulders rolled forward. And if I'm going to meditate and try to push out all distractions outside of that, I don't want back pain, and I don't want my shoulders to stay rolled forward, because if they're rolled forward, it's going to eventually cause more problems than necessary. So I mean, so no cannabis and a flat back is what has to happen right now. So I've got 20 more days. 31st. So yeah, 20 more days until I actually do that. And I think I can accomplish that. I just need to try to purge as much as possible, because by those 3 days, at the end of those 3 days of the fasting, I will consume is probably more than I've ever consumed in cannabis, but I want to make sure that I'm clear up until that point. And I want to have all material objects in my body. That's food, that's calories, anything that has come from this earth. I want it out of my system, other than water. And I probably want to make sure I can start consuming just good electrolyte, clean water just before it actually happens. But now, this is a step-by-step thing, because I want to make sure that I don't just try to cut cold turkey on it. So this is the first step, and I'm going up to the peak that I can reach, that I think is a good spot, and I'm going to read the Bhagavad Gita again. This was really important for me. This is when I was struggling with Wily, how this book came into my existence, and I don't read that much, and I haven't read that many books to completion. I have, but not much. And the fact that it actually has come to completion was also a testament to how important this book is to me. So I'm going to reread this because I remember how I felt, the clarity that I had, just the information that I got from it was, I would say, very important to me. and I want to make sure that I can continue that, and kind of reinvigorate those feelings, that clarity. The book just makes sense to me, and so I want to continue that. When you get that many signs that it's just right for you, I want to go back to that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and start this. Usually, if I was to hike, I would listen to music. Just to kind of keep my brain, I enjoy the nature, but I also enjoy the technology as well, and the introspection that music gives me. But this time around, from now on, I'm going to be as at peace as possible, and with nothing but my mind, because when it comes down to it, it's how much can I endure without, any material possessions, and it'll go from an endurance to just a natural state for me as soon as I get there. It'll probably take some time. This is not something that I'm versed on, that I've done a lot, but I've dabbled in it enough to know that I haven't come close to where I need to be when it comes to the possible transcendence that I want to get to. So, and it is later than I'd like to. I would have liked at least a full month of getting this going. And the only reason that I didn't was it's my own fault. It's my own fault. I did leave California Pause Rescue earlier than I anticipated. I anticipated quitting cannabis by June 1st. So that I have the full month of June, and then July 10th, 11th, and 12th is when I would meditate and fast for 3 days. So, about 3 to 4 days before the actual fast, I'm going to be down to 1 meal a day, and then I'll do the fast, so that my body is really as acclimated as possible to take that next step. And I mean, I don't know what I'm going to get out of it. I think the biggest thing, I have no doubt that it's going to reset my metabolism. So physically, it'll make me healthier. So even if I get nothing else from this, it'll make me healthier, and I'll have a stronger back. Because that's my point. I mean, even as I talk here, I forget and I start to roll my shoulders forward. I need to remember to pull those back. So I mean, there's benefits no matter what. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. This is a lot of uncharted territory for myself, but I have kind of dabbled in it, and I've kind of started over the last 2 years. And the things that I've kind of picked up about it is, I really do think that it's important, these steps that need to happen. And I think from here on out, there's no self-actualization. There's no convincing myself that it's not necessary. Any of these steps are not necessary. All these steps from this point forward until the 12th of June is extremely important, and I cannot break that. Might have a few beers from here on out, in an isolated time frame, that I don't mind, because the alcohol itself will purge from my system. I don't really have a problem drinking alcohol. I enjoy it. But I don't really have much of a tolerance, and it cleans out of the system fairly quick. So, that one's not really a demon of mine, and I don't mind playing around with that. But the cannabis is definitely a demon of mine that I don't want to put down, and it's been getting in the way of my life in general. I don't care for a lot of the way that I am when I have that haze of cannabis. It's not necessarily extremely like right after, but that's just the perfect way for me to kind of hit that, decompress valve. But when I do that, I mean, even if it's just to relax in between times where I need to do something, after I've come down off that peak, it still just leaves a haze in my head. I mean, and it lasts for over a day too. I mean, I feel the effects of it for a week after, before it actually kind of purges, at least from my mind, on the haze that I get from it. So I definitely think more clearly. My mind is more clear. It doesn't make the cannabis it has done probably it's done an incredible amount of good, but overall it's done more harm than good. I do make different neural connections when I do smoke. I think of things a little differently. I come up with solutions a little more quickly on certain matters and think of it in ways that I didn't before. And when I'm a little more clear and it's not affecting me or my decision making, I think back as to what my decisions were when I was in the middle of it, and those are good decisions, those are good choices, but how I interact with people, my decision making when it comes to just everyday decisions on where I go, what I do. It does kind of get in the way, and it's not something I intend. I don't intend to continue it the way that I have before. So right now, I feel like it is a struggle and somewhat of a loss, even though I know it's very important that I let that go because of what I'm trying to do. And it does sound fairly trivial for leaving this entire world behind, or at least the intent to, or hoping that maybe I can kind of transcend and say, okay, I don't have to worry about living till I get old, dealing with ailments and during COVID, I almost got bacteria poisoning. Well, at least I felt it, and I'm surprised I never got type 2 diabetes from the amount of copious sugar that I consume at certain periods of time. And I don't, it dries my system out. My lips are always dry because of the cannabis. I don't really get cotton mouth that much, but it comes and goes as I smoke, or at least afterwards. The dryness of it. There's just so many things that I don't appreciate from it, and that I need to clear myself up from it. And if I do intend to use it, I intend to use it as a tool, not just for hitting that dopamine center. So this next time I do it, it will be to a degree that is something that I wonder what it's going to be like. It's not something that I'm going to be doing for pleasure or just for kickback. It's going to be for a very clear intent and purpose. And I want to clear my system out as much as possible so that when I do that, it hits me hard and I'm able to use all those tools necessary, knowing that I'm not doing anything and I'm clear from all other material entities in my body, so that I can possibly get through the barriers that I think we have on this earth for what's really going on, what's really out there, and what's really and who we really are, and what we are actually capable of. I want to get as close to that as possible, not just for the sake of it, not because I want to know what's out there. I don't have a desire to know what's out there. I would be fine living the rest of my life without knowing anything other than just the impact that I have made, which I would hope to be positive in this earth, and what there is offered to me. And when I die, I'll find that out. I don't really have a deep desire to learn that. However, that would be very interesting to me. I'm not afraid of death, or at least this body, moving on from this body and what there is. I do think that it's not as linear as the Bible suggests, even though I do believe in the Bible in a lot of ways. I don't prescribe to it 100% as a blind faith situation, but I do believe in its truth. That a lot of its truth, a lot of the important truth of it. But I need to try to see things for what they are, for what's right for me, and I don't know where I'm taking this. I don't know what it's going to be, but I have to try, and I have to try to struggle and but also be at peace at the same time to get to that point. So from here, I've pretty much done all my material struggling. I still have a couple things to change. I got to clean the air filter out here, the fuel filter on the van. Very minor things. I need to discuss, the door hitch. with the Sprinter store that's here in Vegas. So I'll be going there before. So I have some errands. I have some things to do. I'm going to hang out at the Mountain Springs Saloon here a little bit more. I may have to kind of move from here to another spot because I do plan on staying here up until probably about the 1st of June at least. Probably about there to where it gives me about 3 to 4 days before I go to the pure fasting stage of things. About 5 to 6 days or so before I go out to the spot and start to wean myself off, where everything that I would have stocked on food and whatnot would be the last of what I would be eating until I go into my fast. So if I can time things right with the food that I have. But right now I need to start kind of winding down my thought process, getting rid of the news, getting rid of not yet, but definitely by the time I get to Rachel, I'm not going to consume any news, and I need to not lament over that as well, not think that I need to consume news. I need to figure out what's going on. I need to kind of try to figure out where things are going. Just let it go. And that's the main thing. Just let it go. I mean, one of my favorite shows that I've watched multiple times, Lost, there was a lot of meaning. And even as I'm talking right now, my shoulders are rolled forward because I stopped thinking about it, and then I need to remember to pull them back, which happens. I mean, it could be 5 seconds later. I forget that my shoulders need to be pulled back. So I need to make this automatic as possible. And at least if I can get through 4 hours of pulling my shoulders back, then to where in one position, I think that at that point, if I do need to take a rest from there or something like that, I can be at least ready as I need to be to do this. So I'm shooting for 4 hours of continuous shoulders back. So I'm going to start by trying to read, spend an hour at least right now. I think now would be good if I can spend consistently each day an hour my shoulders back. But the message that I just that I cut off from was the TV show Lost, and that was a big thing of letting go. Letting go of the issues that I think are surrounding me externally, and just try to go introspective and only see what I need to consume is just that. No outside distractions. I need to have everything done so that there's nothing to do, nothing to worry about, nothing to think about that I need to kind of put together a list for. That's my process. And I'll probably do a video on breaking down, okay, this, now this, now this, now this, but I thought that I would do a video real quick just to say, okay, this is when it starts, this is when I'm going up to the peak that I reach anyways. Maybe not the one that I was at yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Or that one, or the highest one that I thought of. I don't know that I'll make it up there, but I do need to spend some time sitting, maybe even kind of, even as I'm thinking now, my shoulders are rolling forward. I need to pull them back. And that was a big problem last year. My back hurt so much, and I had to roll out the muscles, and that was not something I could focus on being at peace and starting to just let my mind work correctly. I couldn't do that. So that was a distraction. That was such a clear, distinct distraction that I knew had to change immediately, and I just wasn't ready to do what I needed to do last year. I also wasn't mentally as tough, and I don't know how mentally tough I am this time, but I know that I'm giving myself more time to prepare and less distraction. So from last year, I think that I found out that I wasn't ready, but I knew that I needed to purge the distractions more, give myself more time, and then take the steps a little bit further. So if I retooled those things, now I'm ready to take those steps. So I don't know if I'm going to do a vlog every day. I may. But the sooner I get there, probably as soon as probably about the 1st or so, I'll start doing vlogs, but I won't go on Facebook. I won't go on any social media to check and kind of converse or whatnot. I mean, as far as talking to people, I'm going to go ahead and keep that as to a bare minimum. I'll be going out on the BLM land Bureau of Land Management, next to Rachel, Nevada, which I think is a real gift. The fact that land is there, that I could stay there up to 2 weeks. Yeah, and if I need to, I can come back. I can take the bike back to grab some water if I need to, make a trip back. But I don't need to talk to people that much. I don't need to converse at that point. Right now, I'm still not there yet. I'm still fine with the interactions that I have now. But as long as I start to kind of lower my baseline so that I am, I'm ready to be at peace without distraction. Come the first, that's when it's going to start to be real crucial, and I'll start, and I've reached a Zen state where I can stay in a Zen state, in a sober mindset, in a very clear sober mindset, and that's what I need to do this time as well. And I've got 10 days to do that now. I started yesterday, was my full day without cannabis, and I've got 20 more days to do that, over 20 days. It's over 20 days, 21, 22. And that's huge. That'll be huge for me. And I think that'll get, I'll get much further than I did last time. And I think that I was clear enough to understand where I was at, what my capability was to get there at that point, and what I had to work on, and clear enough to know that I wasn't ready. So let's see where this takes me, and I'm going to start this process now, and it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to have to make decisions on what I'm doing and doing it for as long as possible, but I will take my breaks. I'll take the breaks that are necessary right now, knowing that that's still a weakness, but and that ideally in the next 10 days from now, a lot of that should be purged. I should be able to then spend more continuous time doing the things I need to, taking in less calories, having less necessity, not using the TV, not using the surround sound and the news and those things. So, going on less and just being myself will be enough, and the van is the tool to get there, but I'm not going to be using any distractions material distractions that I set up. So as far as a vehicle to get to where I need to be, to get to what I need, Rachel has water. They have good water. So I think that might be the only thing that's really necessary for me to kind of, concern myself with getting back to, so that I can get back into that state of meditation. So, thinking about my shoulders, gotta think about my shoulders, thinking about my shoulders. So we'll see where this takes me, and I'm gonna go meditate and start reading the Bhagavad Gita again. So until my next video log.